offer number 2.
Hello, hello.
Good morning.
I am moving you over here. How's everybody this morning? Oh, I've got too many things going on my screen. Hold on. Hold on. What are you seeing on my screen?
You.
Oh, good. Okay. Normally I wouldn't say good about that, but oh golly, why am I not able to get this? There we go.
And let's create the offer there.
Move that out. There we go. Now we're good. How are you two today?
Awesome.
You all good? Me too. I'm happy. I'm happy. So what's what's on your mind? And this is your topic of choice, isn't it, Chris?
Yes, for sure. I'm excited about it. I'm using it.
Amy, are you using opportunities as well? Are you there? Do we have you? She may have stepped away for the moment because we're a minute early. So what I don't know and what's going to be interesting is how opportunities relates. I mean, we've got the basic level of opportunities agent by agent, and then we've got this going on in the team so that we're sharing documents and communicating within the team for the opportunities, which is very cool. We like it a lot. Yeah.
So you're able to make comments and see it, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. I think solo agents can do that with like Deb Linky, I think, or maybe I haven't tried it, but I think it's
what I would like to know, and I don't know if you've tested this out, is if you can do that with other closing parties. If you can have a communication with, can you reach out to your clients through that? I think the answer is no. I think it has to be somebody within the team.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's been brought up, and it's probably something we definitely want to have all parties in one place and we can communicate with. I know also it's supposed to, like when you check off each part of the transaction, it's supposed to email the client that it was done, and you'll be able to set privacy settings on things they don't need to really know about. So it's like they see that you're working. When they don't hear from you for the past 5 days, they may get shot an email that, appraisal came in or something, or reached out to this person.
Sorry, I just joined. Are you talking about Command or are you talking about Brevity?
We're talking about Command.
Okay.
We're talking about Command, and we're going to focus today. I'm just letting other people in here. You're not muted. You're not muted. You're good. Yeah, okay. I just was hovering. Okay, so we're going to talk about opportunities for the most part and the capabilities of it. One of the things that I just saw, and I haven't tested out yet, is the connection between opportunities and the consumer app. And Chris, I think that's a piece that you were just describing, which is an update for them to let them know what's going on. And that can happen right through their consumer app. So it may be another reason that we can get more people on the app for the convenience of staying in touch with what's going on with their transactions, as well as staying up on the market. So that looked pretty cool, and we'll see. We'll maybe toward the end we'll explore that a little bit. But so we always start out our sessions with what were your breakthroughs in Command this week, and did you have any stumbling blocks? Where is anybody on any of that? And it can be in any of the applications on Command. Any big ahas or any big stumbling blocks?
So I was playing around a little bit with doing some virtual stuff on Facebook through Command. And I posted a listing a couple of weeks ago. I just listed, which was great. I actually had 7 leads from that, and 2 of which I'm actually in voice-to-voice contact with. But the biggest aha was last weekend. I did a virtual open house, which I advertised through Command onto Facebook, saying what the time would be and the location and a little teaser. And when I went live on Sunday from 1 to 1:30, I was shocked to have 16 people watching me live.
Wow.
Another 9 watched it in like the following 2-3 hours. And the next day, another, I want to say 10 leads hit in there. So it was, that blew my mind. And I've really been digging back in to really want to use that, because the reach is just gigantic for the Facebook Live virtual open house. I actually positioned it closer into New York, not just New York City. I actually used a friend's address in Brooklyn,
Yeah, okay.
thinking that it would, knowing how the boroughs lay out, it would spill over a little bit into Queens, into Manhattan, into, and I was shocked. And a lot of the phone numbers, you can't just tell just from phone numbers anymore, from area codes, but a lot of the area codes were recognizable as New York
718 or
right, exactly, the boroughs. So I just thought that, for the amount of time it took me, the cost of it, it was, I never have, when have I ever had 25 people at an open house?
no kidding, right?
What? Yeah.
I had this conversation with one of my clients this week on one of my virtual listing presentations. And he said, well, what are you doing about broker open houses? What are you doing about public open houses? And I said, well, frankly, we had stopped doing broker open houses because they were such a colossal waste of time and effort.
Mhm.
However, now if we can get 25 agents through a property in 20 minutes, and then maybe more look at it later.
Exactly, because it's there, right? They can go,
Exactly.
right.
And so he said back to me, that's so funny you say that, because I have more people coming to my meetings than
Yeah.
I ever did before,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
So it's an interconnected galaxy, as it were.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask, and if everybody else will just allow me to go down this path a little bit with Donna, tell me about your promotion. Did you make it an event on
Yeah.
Facebook?
Yes, I did. I made it an event on Facebook. And so it also piggybacked on the end of my original ad, which ran for 10 days. So this was right off of that. So it was and I was on somebody's Zoom tutorial, and she said that she actually does this as one of her major sources. And she said that she posts like at least 2 times a week, she'll run some sort of an ad, even if it's on the same house, which I thought, it just kind of boggled my mind. So I thought I would just piggyback. In fact, I think the 2 ads may have overlapped for one day, but one was about new listing and the other one was about this virtual open house, which was an event with a specific time. And, it had all the information there, but then they came while I was doing it live.
And did you use the same demographic for both?
No, I learned because on the just listed one, so that was my very first dip into the pool. I'm just going off of what I've learned on Zoom. And I managed to get one out there, but I used a radius around my house that I was advertising, which was in Brookfield.
Okay.
And so the radius that I used was rather broad. So that took me into part of upstate New York.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yes, that didn't dawn on me. So when I ran the second one, so the other choices were similar in terms of like interests and picking Zillow and, all that. But the radius that I used for the first ad was around Brookfield, which took me into a territory that's not necessarily going to be looking for the house that I have to offer.
Okay.
But the second ad, as I mentioned, I pushed it
You pushed
towards
it down.
Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens,
Mhm.
and that was a big, big aha for me.
Okay. I think that's brilliant. And there is and I don't know now where I got this. It was from one of the trainings. It's a KWU training, and it is, oh, I'm holding it upside down. Instructions on how to, can you all see that? There, Facebook Live,
Uh-huh.
and then some step-by-steps. And I can push this out to you guys. I'm going to ask you to, let's see, how can I do this? I'll have to track who was on here, and push it out to you. But it has a lot of the things that Donna just mentioned. It reiterates and gives you some real step-by-steps for having effective live open houses, live virtual open houses. The potential is just dazzling, I think.
Staggering. Mhm.
Right?
That would be great, Debbie. Thank you.
Okay, you bet. So if at some point I will pause and copy everybody's names down, and because I'm that techie. So any other breakthroughs or stumbling blocks before we jump into opportunities? Did anybody try something, test something out?
A stumbling block for me is, it's not a stumbling block, but it seems like I'm getting lost in how many tags I'm putting to my clients in contacts. And now I've had to keep a running list of all the tags just to keep them straight. And, and to me, that now I'm thinking I'm defining people too deeply, giving too much information, definition.
That can happen. And I was really kind of pulling back and trying to keep it narrow. And I think what will be helpful, Stephen, and if you'd like next week, maybe we can talk about this, is having categories of tags, because that's what has helped to clarify that for me. I have more tags than I intended to have, and they're purposeful tags. And I'll go back to Chris DiBiase when he said, well, tag your people with the name of the smart plan that you've put them on. That serves a purpose. And I have color coded that so that I don't use that color for anything else. And then I know that that is what that's all about. The other thing that I've kind of drilled down and been more granular with is vendors, for example, because you have vendors that you use for your transactions, attorneys and inspectors and plumbers and electricians. And then you have vendors that are something else, that like I have a set of business people that I like to keep in touch with, but I want to know what their businesses are. So I have those color coded as well. And that, when we talk through it maybe next week, does that make sense? Does that sound like it might be helpful, Stephen?
It sounds great. I guess the question I have is, you have categories for tags, and then you have tags within the categories?
Yep, I do.
Oh.
Yeah, just to, because remember what the purpose of the tag is. Who wants to help with that? What's the purpose of a tag?
To filter through when you want to send out campaigns, or you want to reach just one segment, or that's what I was thinking it was for.
Yeah, great.
Who do you want to be talking to,
Exactly.
and how do you want to be talking to them, basically? Exactly that, Donna. Yeah.
Good.
So think about it that way, and that may be helpful. Okay.
Can I
Yep.
share one other thing that I forgot to mention that I also thought was kind of, I got this off of somebody else's Zoom seminar. Each one of those leads that came through, I put them on a neighborhood nurture smart plan.
Yep, ASAP,
Right
yes.
away. And so here was the aha for me. I'm thinking, well, I don't know where they live and I don't really know where they want to move to. And on the Zoom call, the person said, I just put them on a territory around the property that they showed interest in. And you know, that might be obvious to a lot of people on this call, but for me, it was like, oh, there's a
So-
great idea.
So to that point, I got an inbound call from one of those people who I had tagged and put on a neighborhood nurture from one of my ads. And I
Mhm.
did exactly that. And she said, well, I need your help, but I don't know why I'm getting things from Reading, Connecticut. I need to,
Yeah.
okay, well, I
Yeah.
do. I know why
You're
you
right.
are.
I know why you
How
are.
can I help you?
Yeah.
So then it's just convert them. How can I help you? Where do you need help? Right?
Right, exactly. And I'm knocking on wood because so far, and then I also went back through my entire database and put everybody on a neighborhood nurture. I just picked a neighborhood, either where they lived or where they showed interest or the open house I met them at. And I just put them on a neighborhood nurture. And so far, not one single person has unsubscribed or
Imagine
said,
that.
where you're not, you know, where sometimes when you email or text somebody, they're like, don't ever call me again. Not one person has pushed back on that. And again, it's so easy.
It's interesting information. Yeah. Anybody else? And then we're going to jump in. Okay. I'm going to share over here on my screen. And Chris, we didn't do any rehearsing on this. Chris is like the master of opportunities. So I don't know if you want to take this on, or do you want me to do an overview and then you can show some of your special tricks and
Yeah, whatever you like. I mean, I'll just
okay.
show you what all I did was find a great checklist on one of the command groups and copied a lot of it and input my own stuff. So
Right.
just
So-
rip off and duplicate.
Exactly so. So I'm going to let's well, you know what? I'm going to start. Let me do a little quick poll. Hold on, go back. So, and everybody can. How about can you raise your hand to answer this question? Have you sampled opportunities? Do you have opportunities in command in command at this point? Are you tracking people and transactions in command? Some of you who just have names are going to have to either raise your hand or thumbs up. Okay, yay, thumbs up. Am I seeing a yay? It looks like most people have touched opportunities, right? So we don't have to show you how to enter somebody into an opportunity per se. Okay, so then we'll go over to my little screen here and just talk about the basics of
Debbie, something. Okay. One of the things that I went through is that I have 200 people on my database, and I put all of them on the smart plan. But then I get the feedback like five cents. Why are you sending me information about new homes and anything? You know what's now going on now with the COVID. And then they say, you don't have anything that is related to COVID that can help us. So I'm just gonna bring that up.
okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm subscribing myself for the smart plan.
okay, so it sounds like you may need to change the focus of whatever plan you're sending out. And we can certainly have a conversation around that. I didn't see who that was. Who said that?
I'm Jackie.
Jackie, okay.
Yes.
Why don't we have a conversation after the fact? Because I've got some ideas about that.
Oh, great. Thank you.
All right, you bet. So you know that you have stages and phases, right? And it's the phases are the things that are on the top here. And you are seeing my screen, right? You're seeing my opportunities. Cultivate and appointment and active, under a contract, and then closed. Those don't change. Those are static. The stages, and my stages are going to look different than Christopher's stages because we've customized them, right? And in order to customize them, you just need to think about, how do you think about your transactions? And that begins with, how do you think about your pipeline? How do you look at your pipeline leads? And we've decided that we had kind of a 10-point grading system, and we modified it a little bit, but a new lead goes over on the left, and then a nurture that is going to buy within a month, then a 2-month lead time, then a 3-month lead time, and then it's just up to 12 months. So 1, 2, or 3 months, we want to stay on top of more frequently. And the up to 12 months is going to be getting something else. And that tends to be a longer list. And then we have the appointment. And appointment is either scheduled or kept. And then when it's actually signed, it goes to active. And this is where our detailed list really starts to work, when we actually take the listing. So this is something that's coming to the market. What I wanted to do was look at this. This is what I wanted to look at. So in the pre-listing stage, before it actually goes live, we have the back office things that take place. And so we've got a checklist there that we can go through, and we know when that's done, then it's going to be an active live listing. And everything, and on the live listing, it has tasks that we want to be sure get done with every listing. This is the important part. It gives you that checklist so you don't forget the things that you mean to do for every listing. So you can build some consistency into your transactions. And the way we built this, it sounds like this is the way you built yours, Chris. I think the process is important because it doesn't do itself. You can go in there, and I think there are some default tasks. Are there not? Did it start with default tasks or not?
I don't recall.
Not, yeah, I don't.
There are some, Debbie. There
are some. They may not be relevant for where we are, is what I have found. They use different terminology, and they have some slightly different processes.
Yeah, that's correct. That is
Okay.
correct. I like what I'm seeing on the screen quite a bit.
Okay, so this is what we did. We sat down together and brainstormed, how do we process these transactions? And so we just made a list so that we know that we've done the things that need to be done once we've gone through the phases and the stages. And it's kind of detailed, but I don't think it gets too crazy. And so we have the appointment, the things that we have to do for the appointment, and the things that I need to bring back from an appointment for a listing. And then the active tasks. And I see some of these things are going to change now because there are some things that we're just doing differently, and I'm not going to go back to how we did them previously. And then when we're in the active phase, that's new listing active, and this is active listing in the active phase. And then it gives us touch points and reminders that somebody has to call the seller. We have to make sure the photos are labeled. We have to schedule virtual open houses. And we even put our 21-day price review in here so that we don't forget. Then we have a stage called price change, because there are a number of things that we have to double check to make sure that a price change gets done completely all across the board. And then we did our seller from contract to close checklists. So you can see that rather than just kind of doing this off the cuff, it's a good idea to evaluate how do you do your transactions. And everybody's going to have it a little bit different.
Can you share that with us?
I would be happy to share this with you. And I don't want anybody to think that this is the be all end all, because you should cross out and replace and just make it be yours, but you could use it as a foundation for sure.
That's excellent. Thank you.
I'm happy to do that. So then when you're in here and you need to make changes, and I'm going to go back to the pipeline. Let's go back. And because I saw something that I wanted to make a change. Oh my goodness, I didn't want to go that far back. Sorry. Oh golly.
Have you done that for buyers as well?
I will go into the buyers list as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Isn't that fascinating? It thinks I'm invalid. Look at that. Isn't that great? Why does it think that? There we go. All good. Oh no. What are you doing? I may have to call on you, Chris. It's not letting me back in. Oh, goodness. One more time.
I just got kicked out.
Okay, Chris. Oh, there we go.
You got it?
Here it comes. It's back. I think so. There we are. Okay. So, yeah, so we'll look at a buyer under contract. And we don't have anybody in the inspection stage, but we've got Mr. Diaz. Oh, I went the wrong place. I am so sorry. In order to look at your stages, you go into just not to the card, but to this number. So this looks like we have to confirm a fully executed contract. That hasn't been done just yet. Meet the appraiser. Actually, I know that was done. And then we're waiting for their loan commitment. So I know that one of these things is done, and it gives me my reminder that I need to check in on the others. And then we'll move this card, you know about moving the cards forward to financing when we're waiting for the commitment, once the appraisal's been done. And then that's going to have different items in the checklist. So this will be confirm the loan commitment, follow up on the contracted inspection items, check invoice details, create the invoice, and check the progress. That's what's in there now. And you can see in each of the cards, you can add an item if a specific transaction needs some extra triage. If it needs, I'll just say, double check the septic repairs because that's a special something for this transaction. And now, she says confidently, there it is, it's right there. So that will remind us before we close, we've got to make sure that that piece was done. So you can add something as a one-off. And then in order to edit the actual stage, you see, let's just go in here. And I want to confirm. That wasn't where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to clear to close, financing. Let's go here. So this is where we were, and you can see that in the main checklist, what I just added as that one-off did not show up in the main checklist. So to edit I'll go back here, to edit your global processes, you use that button up in the right-hand corner. And then you can always do some custom tasks within your stages for each transaction. Pretty cool, right? Do you want to unmute? Are you good, or are you just nodding your head? Okay. Okay, Chris, did you want to show us how you're doing these good things? And I'm going to stop my share and let you pick up. Any questions before we move over to Chris? Everybody's cool?
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't have any questions. It's really,
Okay.
really cool.
It's
I like
very
I like the way you've broken it down too. It's gonna
Well, it's just so that we can keep in our rhythm. I'll tell you, how many of you have forgotten to order a fuel reading before our closing? Oh my God. Make me nuts. I hate it when that happens. This helps you not forget that.
And if you haven't so far, you will shortly.
Right?
Debbie, it won't let me share the screen. It says it's disabled.
Oh, it says I have to give you one more permission. Sorry about that. There you go.
Okay. Is that up?
Yep, we see you.
Awesome. So does everyone know how to actually input an opportunity? I mean, that's the first step.
And you've got two ways to do it, right?
Yes, you can either go right into opportunities and do it where it says in the top right corner. Here, I'll show you. So if you click the opportunities tab in this left-hand column, in the top right, it says create opportunity. You can click that and create an opportunity there, or you can do it directly from contacts, which is easiest, I feel. I like doing that. If I'm working within a contact on a specific person, I'd like to just add it right from there. So above the timeline, you have all these different options. Click on opportunities and you hit create opportunity right there. You put in your basic info, click create it, and it's going to show up in the opportunities tab after you do that. So yeah, there's basically two ways that I know of, either through contacts or directly through opportunities.
Right. And then the different kinds of opportunities you can create are listings or buyers or the leases, and the leases are either landlord or tenant. And that you have to go to a separate drop-down screen to choose which role that is.
All right, so I'll go through my buyers list and pipeline. This is, so Debbie showed us the seller one. I kept this the same for buyers, watch, nurture, and hot. And I don't know if these are generic. No, I think I started adding some different steps to these. If they just come in, I want to make sure they have their email address. So if you hover over the where it cuts off, the 3 dots, it's going to show you the full verbiage that you have in there for the step. And you could assign due dates for these things that will pop up in the task reminders on the home screen. So if you want to, you know, follow up on something a week from today, put that date in, and it's going to remind you. It'll show up in Kelly on your phone. It's going to show up in command on the task screen as well. Okay. So the most exciting part of this pipeline is the active and under contract phase, and then getting to closed, where we actually get paid. I think before I changed it because I think Debbie, I saw on her pipeline, I used to have accepted offer in the active stage, but I changed it to under contract and I added a bunch of steps. So when we actually decide to start searching, first thing I want to do is make sure I have the doc signed, and I put abbreviations BA for buyer agency, exclusive right to represent, the new consent forms, and the wiring scam advisory form as well. So that's a checklist item I have. If I move someone over to showing, it's going to pop up with new steps to do. And this is stuff that I just found from that checklist. I mean, I could post it in the chat box as well if I could find the link. But at this point, I really want to talk to the client about I want to bring up the entire overview again of the process. You know, we're going to look at homes. You're going to pick an attorney. We're going to have an inspection, you know, start to finish, soup to nuts. I want to go over with that with them and prep them, especially at this point for the home inspection. You know, I want to put in their head what we're looking for, and we're not going into, you know, it's not a total punch list of items for any seller to do. We want to focus on what's really important, and I'm starting to put that seed in their head at this point. So when we place an offer and we're in negotiations, I want them to start picking their attorney already if they haven't. I'm going to download the MLS property disclosures and go through those. I'm going to try and reach out to the seller's agent and find out what's important to that seller, so we can try and make our offer as attractive as possible, especially if we have multiple offers. And then you want to put the offer together and share it for signatures. So whether it's DocuSign, Dotloop, whatever you use, in-person signings, you know, you could add that as a step as well.
You know, Chris, can you go on? Do you have somebody who's in a negotiation stage? You do, this guy. So open him up, go to his card, no, yeah, right there, and then go to documents. So this is the screen that we have been using in our virtual buyer presentations. And we've just walked people through. Click on the agency disclosure, for example, right there. Yeah. We share the screen with them and we walk them through about 4 documents that we want them to be familiar with, and then we send them through DocuSign for their signatures. And it has worked like a charm. It's very simple to do it here because you have access to everything on one screen.
That's a great idea. I love it. Like you said, you don't have to pull the documents from anywhere. It's right there. You just
exactly. Yes. And it just makes it easy. And you can go into as much detail as you want. Sometimes we do just the agency disclosure and the exclusive right. Sometimes we go into the forms and steps. And then we give them a heads up about the other documents that will be coming to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if there isn't a form here or you want to add something to it, just click add item and then you can put it there. And it's going to be specific to this transaction in person.
The other thing, while you're on this, go back to that detail screen real quick, because notice in the right-hand column you have porch. That's how you get to, now you have to have connected to Porch in your apps and the marketplace. But when you click on that, then every one of your detail screens will have that available to you so that you can send inspection reports and get those estimates back. Talk a little bit about this details page as well, because this is a key to making everything kind of easier as far as tracking the details, quote unquote. Yeah.
So this is going to pull in the information from your contact card. And when you fill out the opportunity, you're putting in their budget, what the average, I mean, you don't know what the commission is yet because you don't have a property when you put them in to an opportunity stage. So I would try and figure out the lowest possible amount there. And
But you do put something in because it talks about your potential income. It fills in for your potential income. And then the items on the left-hand side, you fill in as you get the contract details
Yes.
available.
if
And then the same thing, yeah, there's the editing screen, right?
Yeah, and then as you know the new dates, you could put them in here.
Mhm. And then the property as well. When you know the property that's being purchased, you add that in there so that I'm not clear, Chris. I think that information autofills to some of the documents, but not all of them, and that's not clear to me when it applies and when it doesn't.
In DocuSign, I'm not sure either. It's probably hit or miss. I would have.
There's a reason for it, but it's good to have the information here. So fill in as many details as you can here.
Absolutely. And then if it doesn't transfer over into DocuSign, you just have to put that into that detail section in DocuSign.
The details in DocuSign, and then that fills in for you. Go to offers. No, I don't know that that's really where I wanted you to go. Shoot. Hold on. Go to wherever you want to go and I'll find where I want to go.
I want a beach somewhere.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, goodness.
So legacy right here, if you're not familiar with what legacy is, that was put there when they added dotloop as a partner. And if you import loops from dotloop to command, they're automatically going to show up in the legacy tab on different stages. And then you could take them from there and put them where they're supposed to be.
So click on your person again, and because I want to test this out. And where am I? I think I am in offers. Click on offers and see if, no, you don't have that option.
What are you trying to?
I'm trying to see the discussion tab. Do you have anybody in negotiations or?
Yeah. Under contract?
Under contract, yeah. Look at an under contract. No, you know what? I think it's a team.
You have it in the offers tab?
Yes. I think it's a team functionality, and it's being able to talk to each other on the team around the transaction. And it's very cool. It's very, very cool. But I think it's only people who are inside the command system who you can do that with.
If in this documents tab for anybody, there's this add comment here. And this should be going, I want to say to Deb Linke, I would think. So
and if you put at Deb in there, enter that at Deb.
There you go.
Yeah. See? And how come you can send something to Joe? You at Joe.
I think it's probably going to.
Oh, it's the staff. Look at that. Yeah, you've got all of the people inside the market center that you can communicate with. If you have a command question, you can do at Joseph McHugh, and he should be able to get back to you with an answer. And they get those notifications in their text through Kelly. It shows up as a notification from Kelly. Very cool. Okay.
All right. So this buyer right here, I'm waiting for the contract to come back today. So I'm going to hopefully be moving him here to under contract. And then we got a whole new checklist.
So question, before you moved him there, help me understand what legacy is and why that's not perhaps in the closed section.
So legacy was put there for when they added dot loop as a partner to command. And when you import, you could import dot loop loops to command very easily just through command. And when they do that, they automatically import to the legacy tab. So any transaction that you bring over from dot loop that you already have going on into command, it's going to show up there, and then you can move it to the appropriate place it's supposed to be.
So,
that-
and
Does that make sense?
if you're in the middle of a transaction that you started in dot loop
Right.
and it won't close for another few weeks, it might be a good idea to do that, unless you just want to swap out and do everything through DocuSign at this point. But the legacy is an option for that. And the legacy is, you don't have to move all of your old transactions because you will still have them archived in dot loop and have access to them as archives in dot loop, but they're static at this point. They can't be edited.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Did that help?
Can you kind of walk us through what that looks like? So when you say if you have a loop, right, and now you have an offer and it's going to close in 3 weeks or whatever, but all the documents are in dot loop, where is it that we can transfer those over to command? And then the question is, when we submit it to our MCA, are those buyer's representation documents, are those all uploaded into the right place in command, or do we have to do that manually?
Great questions.
I'm
not sure we know the answer.
But Chris, now we are using a DocuSign, not Loop.
unless you
Right.
unless you specifically purchased your own dot loop, yeah, you no longer have access, and you're in DocuSign.
Okay.
Well, we still have access to dot loop. We just can't change any of the forms.
Right.
So
Right.
like, for instance, I have a property that's my listing, right? And it was listed during the time where we had dot loop. So right now I have all those listing documents sitting in dot loop until I get an offer. So let's say I get an offer today.
Mm-hmm.
I, don't particularly care to, download individual documents, on my computer and then upload them into command. What I understood Chris to say is that there's a ability to transfer those to DocuSign and they'll be put in the legacy stage.
I believe so. So if you're here, if you just click on the opportunities tab and it brings you to this like home screen of opportunities, you have import here next to create opportunity.
Okay.
If you click on that, it should give you the choice.
Oh yeah, look at that, dot loop.
To the
You
right
think
there.
Yeah, to the right.
I think there's asterisks here, so both are required. I guess you'd have different choices if maybe you were a team or a rainmaker, etc. Possibly those might be options.
Okay, you can move up to 25 loops at a time. Look at that.
Good.
Huh. Cool.
Let's see. So I'm going to test this out.
Okay, so so this is a listing or that you have.
Nope, this is a buyer.
Okay, so it says it imported successfully.
Okay.
Now let's see where she or her or he are.
So he showed up in closed legacy. So imported from .loop. Now, so you want to see if it actually took the files over, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So let me click on him. Go to documents. CT buyers. Agency disclosure. If I click.
Go to under contract or closed. No.
I don't think it's going to put it in the right spots where initially.
So
You know what? Go to, so he was in legacy, so he's
I might
there.
have to start a transaction with .loop here.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
The
Okay.
CP buyers template, because from what he is,
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing here.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so I guess my question is those when you did transfer that person to command.
Yep.
Where are all those documents?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So
We don't know. How
So I-
about sync it? How
I
about
think-
sync?
I think this is going to work. So I went into documents of the opportunity of that specific person. So
Yeah.
you do that for your seller.
Uh-huh.
So you want to transfer over agency, listing agreement, all that stuff. You have to start a transaction. Before these two were here, it just said start transaction.
Mhm.
And I clicked .loop. So you're going to want to click .loop, assuming if you're importing from .loop. And now I'm going to click add file and see now it brought in .loop here. So now I can click on .loop and pull actually from .loop and they're going to be here.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
So let me,
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I just want to make
Yeah,
sure.
test it. Yeah, test one.
There it is.
I don't know if this is the signed one though.
No. Yeah, it's a blank from .loop.
I might have had two loops with him and one might not have like the right stuff. I think this is definitely the way to go. And
That's the way to do it. Okay, cool. That's the idea.
yeah, because I understand what you're saying. You don't want to download every document and then upload.
Right.
This should alleviate that, I would think.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. Other questions? What do you think? Anything else on opportunities that would be helpful?
Well, I have a question. I do have a question. This is probably, looking in the future. Because we, input all this information about the buyer, the seller, the deal, the offer, at what point do we think that this will replace the green sheets that we have to go back to the old system way back when to create and then populate in here? 'Cause
Right
it seems-
now?
it-
Right now. You
Okay,
can
so
do that.
we can do that in command.
Yep. And so you do that.
So you want to know how to get paid through command?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when you're in a specific, the opportunity and you click on the contact card for the buyer, once you get the accepted offer, whether on the sell side or on the list side or the buy side, you're going to add an offer. So you would put in your details here. And once you do that and have it set up as an accepted offer, then this commissions tab is going to highlight. It's going to become like this. So you can actually click on it and then you'd go into there, fill out the rest of the details and click submit. And that's your new green sheet.
Just like a green sheet. It's right there. Isn't that awesome?
Okay, so then so if we go back to the command under closed, does this populate the green sheet document that's there?
The closing invoice request?
No, so if you go to like Mr. Ruiz buyer over to, yeah, go there and look at his documents. Documents under closed. Okay, so, so can you go over to under contract?
Yeah, go to commissions. Did you do the commissions on this one?
Oh,
No.
you already did.
Yes.
Okay, so if you go to someone where you didn't do the commissions, like I guess go to a buyer that's active, right? So if you go to close in the upper right hand corner, yep. And then you look under, oh wait. Okay, if you click, yeah, active, click one of your, yes, exactly, one of your people. Now go to documents.
No, you're going to have to populate it first. You have to have an offer before you can go to commissions.
Okay.
And when the commission green sheet is there, it just hangs out in commissions. It stays right in the commissions tab, as I understand it. And
Okay.
but you can then submit that to the MCA.
Okay, so we don't have to do the green sheet because there's still, like when you upload the documents, for instance, there's still a line where it says green sheet that's there that I've been doing the green sheet.
In the documents, no. No,
Okay.
you don't have to go back to that. No, you can do commissions now. Commissions equal green sheets.
Got it. Thank you.
And both market centers are using them now.
Okay.
hmm
Yay. And
Yeah.
how about the closing invoices?
And then closing invoice has to go through DocuSign.
Okay,
So you just have to upload that through DocuSign and submit that the same way.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
I haven't been using green sheets for maybe a couple of months. I think this has been at least a month
hmm
on the offers and commissions tab.
Yeah, I think this is great. I just wasn't aware it was up and running. This is
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Good. So go explore, have a good week with Command, bring us some good things back next week. And I will do some more work with Smart Plans next week, as well as anything that you bring to the table. Okay? We've got
It's great.
just, it's awesome stuff, isn't it?
It's amazing. Just amazing. Terrific.
You know what? If everybody will stay signed in for just a moment, I just need to get all of your names down.
Debbie,
Yeah.
somebody put the links on the chat box and I couldn't open them. They said it's invalid option. The links that the checklist.
Yeah, it says we need to request access. I think
Oh.
I hit a button and it said whoever sent it will be notified to.
Okay. What I'll do is download it as a PDF and send it to everybody. And Chris, do you have such checklists too? Did you have a checklist that you could send that way?
I would definitely like to see your seller and buyer.
Okay. All righty.
And let me ask you one more question. How often this group meets? Because it just happened to pop in today.
We've been meeting every Thursday at 11.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm really enjoying this.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have Chris, Jacqueline, Amy, Donna, Joanne, Kimberly, Lisa, Sherry, Sonali. I didn't do Sonali. Okay, and Stephen. Okay. Okie dokie, Smokey.
Debbie?
Yeah.
Give them access to those documents. I sent them the links.
You sent those links to everybody?
I did. So I put them in the chat box. So I
Okay.
put they request access to that document, I can give it to them.
Oh, okay. So super duper. Then all you have to do is request access and Sherry will click on the yes. And you've got them. Super. Okay. There you go.
Awesome.
Okay, guys. Thank
Take
you,
care.
Sherry.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. See you
Thanks,
later.
Debbie. Thanks, Chris.